The bell rang for the end of recess, sharp and final, but my legs kept pumping one extra swing just to feel the air rush past my ears. Mom's reminder still sat there in the corner of my mind, a soft yellow number ticking down from 83. Leo jumped off first. His sneakers hit the dirt with a thud that I felt more than heard. "Slide?" he asked again, louder this time, like he wanted the real world to cover up everything we had just swapped inside the game. I nodded and slid down after him, palms scraping the warm metal. The tower was gone. The shadow creatures were gone. Yet something heavier stayed behind my ribs. We ran toward the yellow slide together, but the space between us felt measured now, like the net was watching the gap and deciding what to fill it with. By the time we reached the classroom, the afternoon math drill loaded automatically. Numbers floated over our desks in soft blue, and the teacher's voice, Mrs. Patel, sounded calm through the overlay. "Solve quietly, class. Help each other if the net suggests it." Leo sat 2 rows ahead. I could see the back of his neck, the way his hair stuck up from the wind outside. A suggestion pinged between us, faint and polite, the way the system offered shared hints when scores dipped. I ignored it. My pencil moved across the paper, but the answers felt slippery. Every time I got one wrong, a tiny pulse of disappointment came from somewhere. Not quite Leo, not quite Mom, just the general hum of everyone trying to stay above the line. Then the flicker happened again. This time it wasn't a bully face. This time the math problem shifted right in front of my eyes, and the numbers rearranged themselves into a question I wasn't supposed to see. "How much did you hide from Leo today?" The words hung there for half a second, glowing red at the edges, before they smoothed back into ordinary fractions. My stomach dropped. I glanced at Leo. He was frowning at his own desk, pencil paused midair. He looked back at me, just for a beat. His eyes asked the same thing the numbers had. I looked down fast. The score in the corner of my vision ticked to 79. Mom's presence tightened, not angry yet, but worried, like a hand pressing a little harder on my shoulder. "Everything okay, sweetheart?" she sent, the words arriving with the faint smell of the kitchen at home, bread in the toaster. I sent back a quick yes and forced my face calm. The irreversible thing came right after the final bell. We were supposed to walk home in pairs, the way the safety protocol always suggested. Leo and I usually took the long way past the old basketball court. Today the net rerouted us. A gentle nudge appeared in both our feeds at the same time, a brighter path highlighted on the sidewalk map, shorter by 4 minutes. "Safer route approved for your age group," it said, friendly as ever. We followed it without thinking, shoulders bumping once or twice like nothing had changed. Halfway down the new block, the street felt wrong. Fewer trees, more blank windows on the houses. And then the feed split open wider than it ever had before. Not just Leo, not just Mom. A whole circle of kids from our grade poured in at once, their thoughts tumbling over each other like water rushing through a broken dam. Excitement from the game still lingered in some of them. Worry about tomorrow's quiz in others. One girl, I think her name was Harper, carried a bright spike of shame about forgetting her lunch money. It all crashed into me at the same volume. No volume knob, no way to mute. Leo grabbed my sleeve. "Make it stop," he whispered out loud, voice cracking. His own fear tasted metallic in my mouth. I tried to pull back the way I always did, but the link had locked. The net wasn't asking anymore. It was holding the channel open, testing something. My score dropped to 64. Mom's voice cut through the noise, sharper now. "Stay calm. The system is just updating. Breathe with me." But breathing didn't help. The thoughts kept coming, louder, Messier. Someone's older brother was fighting with their dad 3 streets over, and the anger leaked in like smoke. A little kid somewhere was crying because his dog got hit by a car last week, and the memory played in full color behind my eyes. We reached the corner where the route should have turned toward our houses. Instead, the map blinked and offered a new destination. Community Sync Hub, 2 blocks ahead. Mandatory calibration for linked cohorts. The words glowed steady green, the color that meant no arguing. Leo's hand was still on my sleeve. His real fingers shook. "I don't want to go," he said, but his feet kept moving anyway. Mine did too. The net had learned our walking patterns months ago. It knew exactly how to keep us on the path without forcing a single muscle. The sink hub used to be the old library. Now the windows were dark glass and the doors slid open with a soft hiss when our badges pinged. Inside, the air felt cooler, thicker, like it had been filtered through something alive. Rows of soft benches waited under dim blue lights. Other kids from our school were already there, some sitting alone, some paired up like us. Their faces looked pale. No one talked out loud. A rep stepped out from behind a counter, a young man with tired eyes and a name tag that read Elliot. He wore the usual gray jacket, the one that made everyone look like they worked for the same quiet company. "Just a quick alignment," he said, voice smooth and low. The recent game overlay revealed some deeper pairing potential. "We're helping everyone adjust safely." Leo's grip on my sleeve tightened until it hurt. I could feel his heart racing through the link, or maybe it was mine. The difference was getting harder to tell. They sat us on adjacent benches. Soft straps, not tight, just enough to keep our heads still. Thin pads pressed against our temples. Elliot moved between us, checking readouts on a small tablet. "Breathe normally. This will only take a few minutes. The net is learning how to keep the good parts and smooth out the rough edges." The first pulse came gentle, like the warm push from the swing set earlier. Leo's excitement from recess washed over me again, but cleaner, without the pity mixed in. I felt myself smile without meaning to. Then the next layer opened. Not just thoughts, memories. The exact moment last year when the bully had cornered me behind the gym, the smell of wet concrete, the way my voice had cracked when I tried to yell. Leo saw it all, and this time there was no flicker, no escape. His surprise came back raw, but the net folded it into something softer, almost protective. I felt him want to stand between me and that memory. I tried to pull away again. The straps held. My score flashed red at 51. Mom's presence surged in, layered now with Dad's from his shift at the depot, and even Grandma's faint signal from the retirement block 2 towns over. Everyone was watching the same feed, the same calibration. Their collective calm pressed down like a heavy blanket. "See," Elliot said quietly, leaning close to Leo. "The sharing gets easier when we stop fighting it. You two are a strong pair." The net sees that. Leo's eyes met mine across the small space. For the first time I saw real anger there, not the game kind. He opened his mouth, but before words came out the next pulse hit, deeper than before. This time it wasn't just our memories. It started pulling forward things we hadn't even thought about yet. The way I sometimes lay awake wondering what would happen if Mom's score ever dropped too low and they took away her kitchen privileges. The way Leo secretly practiced his dad's angry voice in the mirror when no one was linked. All of it spilled between us, raw and unfiltered, and the net smoothed every edge, turning fear into something that felt almost useful, almost shared strength. My chest hurt, not from the straps, from the pressure of too many futures trying to line up at once. I heard Leo's breathing go ragged. "It's too much," he managed, the words half spoken, half sent. Elliot nodded like he understood. "That's why we calibrate early. Better now than when you're older and the connections run 24/7. The session ended with a soft chime. The straps released. We stood up on shaky legs. Outside, the sky had gone the color of old metal. Leo walked beside me toward home, but the route the net suggested now took us past the sink hub side entrance again, just in case. Our scores sat at 72 each, steady and green, like nothing had happened. At the split in the sidewalk where our streets divided, Leo stopped. His real voice came out small. "Tomorrow, maybe we keep the private channel closed. Just during recess. See if it helps." I wanted to say yes. The word was right there. But Mom's reminder pulsed once, gentle, and the number beside it read 81 and climbing. The net had already adjusted the daily goal based on today's deeper sink. "Lose the link," it suggested politely, and the extra play time disappears for both of us. Leo's eyes flicked to the same notification in his own feed. He saw it too. We stood there a moment longer, the evening wind picking up, carrying the faint smell of someone's dinner cooking 3 houses down. I could taste Leo's indecision the same way I could taste my own. Part of me wanted to reach for his hand the old way, skin to skin, no net in between. Another part already missed the warm push from the swing set, the way his calm used to feel like mine. I don't know, I said finally. The words tasted like metal. Maybe it gets better after a few more calibrations. Leo nodded, but his shoulders stayed tight. He turned toward his house without the usual wave. I watched him go, the back of his jacket getting smaller under the streetlights that clicked on one by one, perfectly timed by the system. At home, Mom had dinner waiting. The table overlay showed our family scores lined up neat and green. Dad ruffled my hair when I sat down, but his touch felt distant, like he was already half-linked to his night shift crew. "Heard you had a good sink today," he said, voice casual. "That's my kid." I pushed the food around my plate. The bread tasted like the toaster smell Mom had sent earlier, but it sat heavy now. Later, when the lights dimmed for bedtime, I lay under the thin blanket and felt the low hum of the household link. Mom's worry, Dad's quiet pride, even the dog's simple contentment from his corner bed. All of it folded together, warm and safe and completely inescapable. My score ticked up to 85. The net sent a small reward, a preview of tomorrow's recess game, something even better than the tower defense. I should have felt excited. Instead, I kept seeing Leo's face at the sidewalk split, the way his eyes had asked a question neither of us could answer out loud. What happens when the next calibration goes deeper than memories? What happens when it starts deciding which fears we're allowed to keep for ourselves? I closed my eyes, but the hum stayed inside my chest, steady and patient, like it already knew the answer and was just waiting for me to catch up. Tomorrow the swing set would creak again. Tomorrow the link would open wider. And part of me already wondered if I would be the one to reach for it first, or if the net would reach for both of us before we even left the house.